Hi creative friends, this is Rhea and thank you so much for being here. So if you want to start drawing and painting from real life, I recommend that you set up a very simple still life. Begin with one object, and an apple is good because it is a simple shape that we all remember drawing in grade school. You want your background to be plain, so I put a sheet of paper behind my apple. Now you're going to want your lighting to come from either the extreme right or the extreme left when you first start, because this is going to give you strong contrast and dramatic shadows. It's going to reveal textures and give you a sculptural feeling so you can see shapes much more easily. Later on, you can soften the lighting a little bit, so say at a 45-degree angle from the right or the left, but you definitely don't want front lighting as this is going to flatten everything out. Now, additionally, I would turn off the light in my room so that this way you can see the shadows and the highlights much more easily. You can also squint your eyes a little bit, and that way you can see the shapes a little bit easier. Now, this is the very professional lighting setup I have in my studio, and it works well for me. I can move it around and I can see the shadows and the highlights. Now, once you get comfortable drawing and painting one object, you can add another object. I would put one object in front of the other to show space. Now, two objects together become much more complicated because it's not just about capturing each object, but it's about how these objects relate to each other in space. So now we're dealing with spatial relationships. Their individual size, the way they overlap, and the spaces between them create a sense of depth and balance. So what I mean by this is you're not just drawing the apple and you're not just drawing the bowl, but you're drawing how they interact with each other. And once you add lighting to the mix, you're going to see how much more complicated it becomes. So I would say that two objects definitely is an intermediate to a difficult level. Now, let's talk about shadows. Shadows are really important because they link the objects together and they show whether one is in front, behind, or beside the other. It's important to pay attention to these spatial relationships because this is what makes your still life look unified and believable rather than like separate cutouts placed on a page. I love adding lemons to my still lifes because they are a basic spherical object. Plus, I just love the color of yellow. It just makes me so happy. And when you pair it with the red of an apple, it just really makes your still lifes zing. Like, look at those colors pop. Now, let's talk about fabrics. So fabrics in a still life deserves its own attention because it is an object in and of itself. So what you want to do, because it's really intimidating in the beginning to paint or draw fabric, you want to start by noticing the big shapes. Then you want to focus on the tones. So you want to focus on the shadows, the midtones, and the highlights, and the details come last. Now, fabrics adds so much to your still life because it anchors your objects, it adds rhythm and movement, and it really contrasts with, say, the very stable forms of the apple, the bowl, the fruit, because you can move your fabrics around. You can pull it to the front, you can push it to the back, you can arrange it the way you want. So it becomes a really fluid and fluid but also anchoring. Now, let's talk about reflective surfaces like brass, for instance. They bring a whole new layer of complexity and beauty to a still life. When you place, say, an apple next to brass, you're going to see small patches of their color echoing on the metal. Now, the red may appear as a warm glow, and these reflections are never going to be as strong as on the actual object. They're going to be softer, distorted, and curved along the roundness of the brass. Now, look at these pears. I absolutely love adding pears to my still life because they're so sculptural and voluptuous. Look at them. Oh my goodness. And then you put the fabric and you can put a candlestick, some apples. And as you advance and paint, you can choose different perspectives. And then when added with the complexities of lighting, they're going to push you to interpret and organize complex, unusual information in a drawing or a painting. And just pick objects that you really love, that you surround yourself with in your home, and have fun.